Good day, everyone. I will be teaching you how to create a simple class in C++ in this video. So come along with me and hope you will learn something about this video. Okay, first, I already opened our code blocks. So this is our editor for our C++ language. So I'll be creating a new project, the same thing that we did on our previous lecture about creating a simple class using Java. So right now I'll be using the console application, and also I'll be selecting the C++ language. Then I will name my project. Okay, so my project will be OOP CPP, uh, for example, final. Okay, you can do that and click next. And all, if you're using this ID, you need to use make this configuration at default. So just click it finish. So the ID will create your main function. Okay, so we will create a main function. So in C++, they have different ways to create our a class. Okay, but we will create as much more simpler so that we can have an idea that creating a class is not very we call it complex. So first, since we have already our main class, the main CPP that holds the int main, which is the main function. So all we need to do is just leave it here because right now we were going to create our class, the same class that we are going to create, which is human class. So that we can just have similarity. We're just having two languages, and we will see what is the difference between the two languages, which is C++ and Java in OOP. So right now, I'll be creating a file. So right here, I will go to the file and click new, and I will create file. Okay, there is also option here which is class, but right now I will create a file so that we can create it manually for us. So I will create a file and I will choose empty file. Then I'll just click next, and here I will locate where I will save my file. So in my case, all I need to do is to just copy everything here and click save. Okay, but make sure no, just type here what is the name of your file. Okay, in IDE the file extension in C++ is CPP. Okay, so CPP. So all we need to do is in our class to type human.cpp. This is the name of our class, right? So we click save, then click finish. So we have here now two file. The first one is human.cpp and other one is main.cpp. All we need to do is to configure here. So all we need to do is to create our class. Okay, manually. So we will create our class. First is we will create to define our class. We have type class. Okay, so the keyword is class to tell the compiler that you are going to create your human class. Then next, um, I will name my file human. Okay, and don't forget to put semicolon. So that is the terminator for uh, our class. So it's not the same with the Java that you don't need to provide semicolon. So right now we need to put semicolon to end this line. Okay. So now we here to do is to first to create our attributes in our human. Remember that we also declare attributes in our Java coding. So what we did is we create an attribute for um, or characteristic of a human like name, age, gender, address. So that is the thing that we will going to do here. So first we will have the name, next is the address, the gender, the age, and we have also the height in meter and weight in kg. So all those are names are attributes that describes our class. And now next thing we're going to do is to make it as a um, variable. Okay, since this is a attribute. So here, name should be string. Okay, address should also a string. So remember, when in Java it's capital S, in C++ it's only small s. Okay, you can have car gender, age int, and we have also double for height and double for weight. It's, it's G, not D. So don't forget to use semicolon. Okay. Okay, the nature of C++, it's in OOPs, you need to define first what is the access modifier of all those things that inside of your class. Remember that there is an access modifier controlling. So it is in the encapsulation topic that we will include that one. Right now, we will use first the public access modifier for our class because that is the requirement in creating our class. So all we need to do is to tab all these attributes, and now everything here will be put into public. So that's so everything here will be put on public. So that's all the requirements first in creating attributes and also creating methods later. So that's it. But first, we have to check also some requirements. String data type is not primitive data type in Java, in C++, so we need to include first the string library so that we can address this string. So all we need to do at the top of the class, all we need to do is to include include the string. Okay, there is no quotation here. So I'll just include the string library. So that means we can now use string uh, data type. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is now to create a method. So last time we create our method, we just only create a greeting method when the object is created. No, they will just create tell the user that this is your name. So I'll be creating the same thing here. So I'll be just first requirements for creating a method or a function in your class is first is to type the data type. So right now, since we need to be complex, all, and all we need to do is to output data. So all we need to we'll just use void data type. Same thing what we did on our Java. So void, and we will name it, or for example, greeting. So we have that one. So our scope for our greeting function is only in the inside of the left brace and the right brace here. All we need to do is to output data. So to output data, use cout functionality in here. Okay, then we have to output, for example, hello, I am, and whatever the name or assigned value for that object. So that name and then end line. Okay. So again, remember, since we are using the cout, since cout needs to have to include the standard, we use the IOStream library because IOStream takes the input and output stream. So you need to also include it on the top, the IOStream. So do not forget about all these things because we need these things in for us to run our program because we are going to use cout, so we need to use the I input output stream, so IO stream. So that's it. So right now we already created our class, simple class. We have an attributes and also we have also um, function. So again, we have two members of our class. So we have attributes and functions or method. So right now, all we need to do is save our file. And next thing that we're going to do is to create our object. Okay. So we will now go to the other file, which is the main CPP. So all we need to do here is to use that human.cpp. Okay, C++ is different from Java. So Java is automatically you can once it is the same file, it is automatically, you can call it direct. Here you need to include everything that you're going to use. Okay, so right now I will going to include the human CPP in this file, so that we can use that's human class here. So all we need to do is include, and here I'll be calling human CPP here. So meaning we are going to include our other file, this file, to this main CPP. Okay, and that's it. So we need to include it. So now we are ready. We will now going to access the human class. So all we need to do is to create our object. So all we need to do is to type here the name of the class, and here automatically you can type here the name of the object. So for example, object 1. So right here, this automatically create an instance of the class. So automatically, by just declaring this one, because in Java we only declare here, this line of code is only we declare, but in C++ we automatically create an instance of the class, meaning you can now, by just doing this, you can now use all the attributes belonging to and functions belonging to the human. So all we need to do, so the same thing, we will use the dot operator to access all those attributes and function. So all we need to do is object 1 and dot, and you can see here for a while. Okay, for a while. Okay, sorry about that one. I have to pause the video. So right now we will continue. So basically when you type here in that, it will pop up all the possible attributes and functions inside the human class. But again, we have probably there is an error in our human class. So all we need to do is siguro we will going to run it, and we will try what is our error. So okay, so here we have an error. So basically, okay, here we put open close parenthesis in here. So that is not a function, it is a class. So all we need to do is to uh, remove this one, because that is only the requirements for creating a class, only a name that have a open close and parenthesis. That is also the same in Java. So all we need to do is run it again to know if there is an error again. Okay, we have a lot of error. Error string does not name a type. Okay, if that you can consider this one if you encounter this error. The one that we are lacking right now is what we call the name, the standard naming convention. So all we need to do is to use using names space std. So that is the solution of this your error. So when we run, so I guess there is no error now. Okay, so I guess there is no error. Okay, we're now having an error with what we left for the dot. So now we will try to use the dot here, and okay, it's still not working. Why? Because we need to put one, right? That is the name of the object, one, and then dot. Okay, right now we solved our problem. As you can see here, we can now access or we can locate all the possible attributes in our class human. So we can now manipulate those variables or attributes or even functions of that human class. So all we need to do is to first is to access only this is only intended for a short video for you to learn how to create a simple class and object. So for now, I'll just only accessing the name attribute here on our human. So all we need to do is assign this value to, for example, and I name it to my name one are kasing. Okay, so I have now that a value. So if I will be using create I will be calling the greeting function on our class. All we need that one will be having hello and my name. So basically the same thing that what we did on our C Java. So the same thing. I'll call it object one that greet, and That's it. So that's first. So we should manage to access the name, and also we will going to manage to access the greeting. So prior for accessing it, we also assign the value of our um, name attribute. And now, since we access the greeting, so expected that there will be an output. So we will try yes. Okay, so there now we have now an example. Hello, I am Juan Are Kasing Kasing. So congratulations, we already created our simple class and also a first object of our class. So we can add also after we um, end this video, we will create another object from the class. So human, and I can name it object obj2. So you can name it whatever you want. Then now that is have a create already a create automatically create an instance of a class, a copy of it. So it's a shorter way comparing it to, to Java. So we can now assign a number, access again the name. So obj to that name and assign a value, for example, zeros. So now we can access also those greeting by the object2, so obj2 and greet. So now it used the terminator. Now let's try to run it. So what happened? It's no longer using working. I'll try it again. No, don't I we expect that there is a hello here. Another one for zeros. What happened? So let us try. Okay, the same. So why it does happen that one? Let us build and run. So we're going to build. Okay. So that is build and learn. So sometimes in compiling a computer program, that is also a problem, and that is not a anymore like it is a compiling error. All we need to do is either you have a lot of changes in your program and then you have to run it. Sometimes in our editor will not recognize any changes. So all we need to do is always use build and run for you to test it out. So do not rely only on run. So we have to build and run. So we build actually meaning compile and run. So all we need to we have a successful output. So first object we have hello I am Mura kasing kasing. And the second object is have hello I am Childros. So that ends my video presentation about creating a simple class and objects in C++. So thank you everyone. Have a wonderful one. Sorry, have a wonderful day, and hopefully you've learned something from me. Thank you. Bye bye. Keep safe.